Okay, we are going to take out the common factors of this expression. So here we go. For the first one, we have 35x squared minus 5x. Look at the numbers first. This right here is 35, and this right here is 5. And you ask yourself, what number goes into both 35 and 5? And the answer to that is 5. And we can write this down right here. 35 is the same as 5 times 7, and 5 is the same as just 5 times 1. So if you would like, you can put down 5 times 1, right? And the important part is, you see the 5 is in common, so we can just take it out of the parentheses. So we have the 5 down right here first. Next, we look at the variable. This is x squared and this is x. And the easy way to do this is that you can just pick out the smaller exponent. You see, this right here is x to the first power, so you can just factor x to the first power like this, right? Because this right here is x to the second power, x to the first power was a smaller exponent. And the reason that this works is because if you break it down, x squared, it means x times x, right? And as you can see, this is just x. So we can have a common x that can be taken out in the front, just like that. All right, now let's see what are the things that are inside. For the inside, you see for the first term, we still have the 7x, so we'll just put that down. And then next, we have the minus. Notice that the 5 and x, they are both out already. However, there's still a factor 1. That's why I emphasized with the 5 times 1 earlier. You have to put down a 1 right here. So the final answer is 5x times 7x minus 1 in parentheses, like this. All right, so let's look at the second one. We have 21m plus 56. Again, think about a number that goes into both 21 and 56. And the answer that we can use is 7, and that's actually the correct answer that we'll use too. Okay, for the 21, we can look at this as 7 times 3. And in the meantime, 56 is the same as 7 times 8. And you see the 7 is in common. So we can just factor that out, take it out and put it in the front. And for the variable part though, this one has m, this one does not. So we cannot do anything with the variable. So finally, we'll just say, here we have 3m left and then plus the 8 left, like this. So finally, we get 7 times 3m plus 8, just like that. All right, for this one, 33xy plus 55y squared. Do the number first, 33 and 55. We can use 11. Yes, this right here is the same as 11 times 3, and 55 is the same as 11 times 5. So the 11 is in common, so we can just factor that out right away. And then, for the variable, this has x, but this one does not. So this x has to stay for the first term in the parentheses right here, right? And for the y, this is y to the first, this is y to the second. Again, factor out the y with a smaller exponent, namely y to the first. And you don't have to put down the 1 for the power if you don't want to. And you see, if you would like to do the following, you can just say, we have the y right here, and the y squared means y times y. So this y and that y is in common. And in fact, I could have just circled this y because y is just by itself. This y and that y in common can just factor that out like that. Okay, then finally we see 3x left plus, for the second term, we have 5y left. So finally, the answer is 11y times the parentheses with 3x plus 5y inside. Now, for the last one, we have 45 and 18. Again, we are looking at the numbers first. What can we do? We know this right here, 3 goes into 45 and 3 also goes into 18, but that's not the biggest number that we can use. The actual number we are going to use is 9, because we are going to just finish everything in one go. Pick the biggest number that goes into both this and that. Again, the answer is 9, because we know that 9 times 5 gives you 45, and 9 times 2, I was looking at this 8. 9 times 2 will give you 18. So as you can see, the 9 and then the I, they are in common, so you can factor that out. If earlier you break this down into 3 times 15 and 3 times 6, then you have to do it again because you can just keep factoring things out. So if you use 9, you can just do it in one go, right? Okay, then we see that this is x squared, this is x to the third power, so in fact we can factor what? X to the second power. Again, x to the smaller exponent, which is this. And the reason is because, again, this right here is x times x, and this right here means x times x times x. this and that in common, but we have this and that in common, so you can factor out x to the second power, right? X times x, so x to a second power in the front. Lastly, this is y and this is also y, so this and that, they are both in common, so you can just factor that out. This right here will be the common factor, and then, let's see, for the first term, we still have the 5 left. And we'll subtract, for the second term, we have 2x left. So finally, the answer is 9x to a second power times y times 5 minus 2x in the parentheses like this. And that's it.